Alright, in this episode we're going through one of the more questionable episodes where Clodius's Clodius, the brother of Clodia, is being impersonated, and in the back of our mind is that allegation of incest where it's alleged that, or the rumors say that Clodia and Clodia and Clodius, brother and sister, have been sleeping together, which is really wrong, and especially when you think about them having known each other as kids. Sin autem urbanius me agere mavis. But if you prefer, mavis comes from malo, from magis wallow, related to wallow. Mavis is if you prefer, but if you prefer, and then like the autem is like however, but if however you prefer me to act in a more urbane method, like in a more urbane way. So that's like in the way of the city. The city way, the urbanus way, is being polite and refined and sophisticated, but it's also associated with having loose morals, maybe doing more gambling and more prostitution, more accepting of things that the conservatives would find offensively lustful, that kind of thing. A little bit too luxurious. So luxury is particular to the urbanus type. Whereas someone who is from the countryside, agrestis, they're associated with being harsh as opposed to being polite, being rough around the edges. So rough, unrefined, that kind of like having clothes that are quite rough, able to withstand the conditions of hard labor, as opposed to refined cottons, refined this and that, like silks or something that are really fashionable. That would be another way to translate urbanus, fashionable. Whereas agrestis is quite unfashionable, uncool, unsophisticated, but holding to old-fashioned values, ancient values that are about the family and about being sensible and having good wisdom. Whereas the urbanus is having the street knowledge and having the ability to kind of outstep what your parents might have said, depending on what your parents were like. So there's this thing. If you want me to act in a more urbane manner, in a more polite, sophisticated manner, seek agam tecum. I will act with you, seek, like this. I will remove that durum senem, that harsh old man, and nearly country bumpkinish old man. Agrestem, I'm making it a harsher word, country bumpkiness, rather than just country, because it's being contrasted with the urbanus, and it seems to be used even dismissively here, nearly almost country bumpkiness in this sentence seems like that. I'll remove that harsh and almost country bumpkinish old man. Out of these, therefore, I will take up someone. So I will take up someone. I will assume the role of someone from these men, these people. Ac potissimum minimum fratrem, and especially the littlest brother, the youngest brother, qui est in isto genere, who is in that kind, in that type, in that regard, urbanissimus, most refined. Urbanissimus could be both a compliment or an insult, depending on whose perspective you're taking. Is urbanissimus the most sophisticated person? Or is urbanissimus the most immorally, like, most luxurious and immoral kind of person? Qui te amat plurimum, who loves you very much. So that's describing the littlest brother who is in that way, in that regard, most refined. He loves you very much. Qui propter nescioquam credo timiditatem et nocturnos quosdam inanis metus tecum semper pusio cum maiores sorore cubitabat. Oh, there's a lot to unpack in here. Who, on account of nescioquam, that's the same word as nescioqua here. I don't know what sort of. Expressing doubt in how to describe something. And then credo is I believe. So who, on account of I don't know what, but I think, this is very much a kind of lots of ums, I feel, where he's trying to put on a description of something that makes him uncomfortable. And it makes the audience uncomfortable of imagining Clodia and Clodius as kids, knowing that they may be having had incest later on. Who, on account of I don't know what sort of I know fear. I guess you could say timidity, fear. What's another word for fear? Because there's another word for fear later. I'll say fearfulness. And certain nighttime. So quotes down from quidam, certain nighttime empty fears. Inanis metus. Certain empty nighttime fears. So who, on account of these fears, I don't know what kind of fears they are. Semper pusio, always. As a little boy, pusio, a little boy, tecum, cum maior sorore is all like with the cum ablative, who always used to sleep with, uncomfortable imagery, tecum with you, with his bigger sister. Yep. Moving on. Eum putato tecum loqui. Suppose that. So may you think that is like sort of it's a third person imperative, but it's one of those archaic ones that is just really, I think is it a future one? It's not a form that is used much outside of speeches where you want to sound pompous. Suppose that he spoke with you. So now he puts on the character of young Clodius. Quid tumultuaris soror, quid insanis. Why? So this is quid meaning why as well as what. That was happening here as well, said quid ego, but why did I? So quid tumultuaris soror, why are you upset, sister? Why are you going mad? Why are you insane? And then in a new line indented because it's a quote from a play, why, having raised a shout with words, do you make a small thing big? And then he continues talking. That quote thing is continuing his speech, even though it's been, it bothers me, this punctuation here is this, there's a end quote there, but he continues and then he has an actual end quote there. So this is Clodius, boy Clodius speaking, with all the manner of a city knowledge. You caught sight of a neighboring little young man, adolescentulum. He uses the same word, adolescentulus, as Clodius had with that homine adolescentulo, that little young man. That's kind of dismissive, kind of making it seem like a little fling. You caught sight of a neighboring little young man, his candor, his complexion. That's generally for men, it's having a more blushed kind of complexion, or tanned, because you're out and about in the sunny world of Rome. His complexion and his procaritas, his height, his vultus, his expressions, and his eyes, like his face and his eyes, his appearance and his eyes, pepulerunt te. Pepulerunt is like compelled, or drove you, struck you, as in like you were into him because of these things. His complexion and height, his appearance and eyes struck you. Saipus videre voluisti. You wanted to see him more often. Fuisti, you were no nunquam, that goes together. Not never means sometimes. You were sometimes in the same gardens. You, a nobilis mulier, a noble wish to have, as in like to hold, to have that son, illum filium, of that son who came from a patre, familias patre, a paterfamilias, who was Parco and Tenaki. Parcus is stingy, as in cheap, not wanting to buy expensive things for him. Stingy and Tenaki. Literally tenacious, as in holding on tightly to something, but here it's tight-fisted in the sense of not wanting to let go of money. You, a noblewoman, wanted to have that son of a stingy and tight-fisted paterfamilias. You wanted to have him bound, de vinctum, bound by your abundance, your wealth, your resources. As in, you wanted to give him gifts, expensive gifts that his father wouldn't give him, so you win him over. No, in potest, you cannot. Calcitrat respirit repellet. He kicks back, he literally spits back, but this is like resists, he rejects, he repellet, he pushes back. Non putat tua dona acceptanti. He doesn't think, non putat, tua dona, your gifts are, and then genitive value, of such great worth. He doesn't think that your gifts are worth so much. Conferte alio. Join yourself, like bring yourself together, conferte, to another man. Bring yourself to another man. Get another boyfriend, is essentially what that sentence says. Habes hortos. You have gardens. Ad Tiberium, at the Tiber, like right up next to the Tiber. Ac diligenter eo loco paratos, and prepared diligently in that place. Quo, to where. So you have gardens prepared, like that are near the Tiber, and in that place, prepared diligently, like diligently prepared, where omnis juventus, the whole youth, like as in youth as in all the young people, all the young men, as in the whole youth, come for the sake of swimming. You have gardens near the Tiber, and diligently prepared in that place, where all the young men come to swim. Hinc licet conditiones. From here, like here, licet is like, it is allowed for you, like you may, legas, choose, condiciones. Condiciones is like love affairs, and that was condiciones used in the Pyrrhus thing. Actually, no, that was foedera. Never mind that. That was treaties, i.e. love affairs, and this one's conditions, terms and conditions, also used for treaties in a military context, but here it's for love affairs. Here you may choose love affairs quotidienne, every day. I wonder if he just chose condiciones quotidienne just for the alliteration. You may choose love affairs every day. Cur huic, qui te spernit, molestias. Why are you annoying to this man who is rejecting you? Qui te spernit is nested within that. Why are you molesta? Why are you annoying, troublesome to this man who rejects you?